All right. Teresa in Honolulu. Oops. Doggone it. Teresa in Honolulu, Hawaii. Thanks for waiting.
Hi, can you hear me?
I
Yes.
can.
Okay, so I just have a question.
Go for it.
I was raised pretty much Catholic, like very strong Mexican Catholic family. And I've been Catholic, like identifying as Catholic my entire life, but I've never really felt any kind of connection to any religion, and it never has made sense to me, even as a child. But I'm also not a very confrontational person. So when I joined the military, because the military asks you, like, what religion do you want on your dog tags, I just say Catholic. Now I'm engaged, and my fiance is a secular humanist, and he saw my dog tags and kind of just went like, why do you have this? Like, you're an atheist. You need to change it.
So he's clearly more confrontational than you are.
Well, I just don't really see the point in changing it, because the military is kind of not religion-centric, but there are a lot of very, openly religious people in the military. Mm-hmm. And, I don't really see the point, because I don't really care that much about religion either way. And so we're really big fans of the show, so I figured I'd call in and see what you thought.
Well, Matt's the one who's been in the military, but I would say it should be up to you. I don't know, what do they do with the information on your dog tags? Is it just if something happens to you, they call a priest, or I'm not sure what's done with that.
That's the primary thing.
Yeah, like the thing is, if something happens to you, they want to know what religious rites you want performed.
So I guess the question is would you want those religious rites done to you or not? And
I don't really care.
Okay.
Like, it doesn't really seem like it means anything or matters.
Yeah.
Like, you're dead.
True.
You're not going to care what anybody says to you or does to you after you're dead.
So I'll say this, Teresa. It's entirely your choice, and if you don't care that much about it, there's no reason to care what anybody else thinks about it, including your fiance. One of the things is, there was a period of time when I was in the Navy. I was a Christian the entire time, but I actually had one set of dog tags that had no religious preference because I really wasn't that concerned about religion. At the time, that was the closest thing to my true feelings, was no religious preference. And if I had left him Southern Baptist, which is what I had when I went in, I can understand, and I can even come up with good reasons why an atheist who doesn't particularly care and who understands that, hey, when they're dead, you can do whatever you want with me because it's not going to affect me at all. There are people who would say, you know what, the majority of my family is Catholic, and they're going to take comfort from some, Catholic tradition being bandied about my body, and so just let them have that. I'm dead. It's not a big deal. There are other people who care more about, I want to make sure that I'm honestly representing myself, even in death, and so it's important enough for me to put atheist on there or no religious preference or whatever. The big thing is, in your entire, how long have you been in, Teresa?
In the military?
Yeah.
4 years.
Okay. In the entire time that you've been in, how many people have actually looked at your dog tags other than you and the time that your fiance noticed?
They haven't looked at them, but there have been religious talks, and I kind of get negative looks when I tell people I don't really believe in anything.
Yeah. So my thing is just focusing on the dog tags. I was in for just a little over 8 years. I don't recall anybody ever seeing my dog tags but me. I mean, my dog tags could have said, screw the Navy or hail Satan, and it would have never been an issue because nobody was ever going to see my dog tags. So it's probably not a big enough deal to worry about, especially if you're not concerned that much about what they say. If you get to a point where you want to say, you know what, this is who I am, and I want to make sure that people know who I am, even in death, then go ahead and change it. And until then, just tell your fiance that you don't care that much, or that since you're going to be dead, you might as well let your family do whatever. I think the concern, perhaps, is that if you die, he would now be in a position where he might be fighting your family over what sort of services to have. So a better solution would be to have those conversations and go ahead and do your estate planning stuff now. Because the dog tags are pretty secondary.
The other question I have, well, it's, being in the military, like, we do talk about it, and when I tell people I don't really believe, they kind of get defensive, and then this is, like, something that I've combated for most of my life. Even in Catholic school, I would try to ask questions, like, this doesn't make any sense, and people would get really defensive. And maybe I'm a little apathetic, but I just don't understand why people care so much. Like, can't people just believe what they want to believe and not get defensive or fighting with other people about it?
So I think beliefs are important. And while I'm fine with everyone having the right to believe as their conscience dictates, that doesn't mean that I'm fine with letting everybody believe whatever they want and not having it go unchallenged. I think it matters, and that's why I do what I do. And granted, we're not going around making outbound calls and knocking on doors and standing on street corners trying to talk people out of Jesus. But it's not that. I don't think it's fair to say, can't you just let people believe? I mean, what's the harm? There's a lot of harm. Every false belief you have potentially leads to more false beliefs. And the false beliefs you have inform actions that you take. One of the things is right here in your example. You've got a fiance is a secular humanist and a family that's ostensibly Catholic. And now we're talking about beliefs, about what to do with your body, whether or not you have a soul, what rituals need to be performed. And we're going to end up, if you die, which I hope doesn't happen anytime soon, we're going to end up with a fight about beliefs, and that has real consequences too.
Okay, that makes sense.
Cool. Thanks, Teresa.
Thank you. Bye.
Oh, and thanks for your service, which I forgot to say.
Yeah.
Whew. Talk more. I'm just messing with you. I know I get on a roll, and John's sitting there going,
Yeah, well, and I know better than interrupt a good Matt rant.
no, there's no good Matt rants coming.